Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Timmy Treacle, also known as Horror Fan for Life, and I've decided to do something special this evening. Someone had posted on one of my videos or asked a question if I had a favorite year in film. And I answered him back, said, that's a good question. I don't have one right now, but I've decided to go ahead and do a top 10 list of some of my favorite years in film. This was a tough list to do. I've been thinking about it all day, and I've got it narrowed down. I got a top 10 list, and I have some honorable mentions. And along with mentioning each number in the top 10, I will name a few movies of each year that were some of the highlights of that year as well. So, before I get into the top 10 list, I'm going to be doing some honorable mentions. And there are 5 in total. And they are 2018, 1980, 1983, 1996, and 2012. All great years in film or movies, and just couldn't make my top 10 list. But coming in at number 10 is 1978. 1978 saw a lot of great movies, especially in the horror genre, come out. Some notable movies from that year is Halloween, Grease, Dawn of the Dead, just some classic movies, and by some up-and-coming and great directors, George A. Romero, John Carpenter. There's a lot to take away from 1978. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is another one. Just a lot of great movies. And 1978, yes, it is the year I was born. But like I said, there's a lot of highlights in this year. And people got to remember, there weren't as many movies released each year leading up to the turn of the new decade in 1980s, where you barely saw 100 movies released each year. Now, in the 21st century, there's over 800 movies released each year, compared to the 60s, 70s, where there's just about 100 movies released. In the 1980s, it got up to about 200 to 300, and then the 90s, it expanded to 400 to 500, and just kept growing and growing. And eventually, we're going to be up to 1,000 movies in a year, and that's going to be crazy. But yeah, 1978 comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is the year 1989. This was another great year for movies. Some highlights are National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, The Little Mermaid, and Tim Burton's Batman with Michael Keaton. It was the number 1 movie that year, 1989. And we saw the 3rd film in the Raiders trilogy, although that was not personally one of my favorites. But this was a great year for movies as well. Turner and Hooch, The Burbs, just a lot of great movies. And yeah, 1989, well deserved to be on my top 10 list. Coming in at number 8 is the year 1999. We had a lot of great movies come out this year. The Matrix, American Pie, The Blair Witch. The Blair Witch was the sleeper hit of 1999, in my opinion. It's an indie film, found footage film, that at the time was, people thought it was real, and it just kicked ass at the box office on a minuscule budget. And even though we know today that it's just a found footage movie, it's still one of the greatest independent movies, probably definitely top 3 in my opinion. And it is just really creepy, claustrophobic, because they couldn't get out of the woods, and the ending to the movie, it's just really creepy. And yeah, 1999 definitely deserves to be in the top 10. Coming in at number 7 is 2017. 2017 saw a lot of great movies. Some movies were hit and miss with some critics and fans. some of the highlights we have Star Wars: The Last Jedi. We have Stephen King's It and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, to me, was a surprise hit. Gal Gadot did a great job. Wonder Woman. That movie is my favorite DCU movie uh, currently. I haven't seen Aquaman yet, so that it could change. But for right now, she's number one, and she got another movie coming out, and I'm really looking forward to that to see what they do with her character and story and everything, and it should be a lot of fun. But 2017 is a lot of great movies, and I just named a few. I mean, I could go on and on about 2017, but I want to move along in this video. But yeah, great year for movies. Coming in at number 6 is 1994. Now, 1994 saw a lot of great Best Picture nominees, and it was tight amongst fans and audience members, but for critics, it was easy pickings. Some of the highlights were The Lion King, The Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, if you don't know already, is my all-time favorite movie. It won Best Picture, it won Best Actor, and won a lot more movies at the Oscars and Golden Globes. Did a lot of damage, if you will. And it's just a great year for movies. A lot of people love Pulp Fiction. I thought it was okay. I don't think it's a great movie. I didn't think it's definitely not Quentin Tarantino's best movie, in my opinion. But 1994 saw a lot of great movies, and those were just the tip of the iceberg. Um, if you look back at the Box Office Mojo online on Google, you'll see all those movies, and not only in the top 10, but you can go through the first 100 movies, and there are a lot of great movies in there that may not necessarily have made big box office numbers, but they were still great movies. And I think if I were to go through each individual year, uh, I don't know, it'd be really close as to how many movies I've seen from each year. I do keep track on my tablet here, and I could probably figure that out. But yeah, this is just another great year for movies, 1994, and well deserved to be on the list. Coming in at number 5 is 1984. 1984 is really special to me. Um, well, pretty much anything in the 80s is really special to me. But 1984 especially because we've seen a lot of great movies that are still classics today. Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters, The Karate Kid. Just a lot of great movies that came out. Eddie Murphy was on his third hit in a row. The previous 2 years, he had 48 Hours and Trading Places Respectfully, and he was just on a roll. Not only doing these great movies, but still kicking ass on Saturday Night Live. And he was on fire after Beverly Hills Cop. And yeah, 1984 saw a lot of great movies. And just looking back on it, I can't believe how many movies I've seen in that year. But it was a lot of fun. The 1980s were great for 3 things: action movies, comedies, and horror movies. And in my opinion, the 1980s is the best decade for film, hands down. Doesn't even come close. And I'm not being biased here because I grew up in the 80s. It's just a fact. And I think if you would ask a lot of critics and a lot of audience members, they would tell you the same thing. They may not all agree on every genre, but I guarantee you they will all say that horror movies, slasher movies were the best in the 1980s. But yeah, well deserved to be on my list, coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is 2009. Again, 2009 saw a lot of breakout movies, some big-time box office movies. You have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. You have Avatar, and you have Taken with Liam Neeson. Those are just three of a lot of movies that were just fantastic. And I could have listed a lot more and gave you a lot more, but I decided to stick with three because, like I said, I want to move this video along. But 2009 was a great year for movies. Um, you also have my favorite comedy from that year, and one of my favorite comedies of all time, The Hangover. I have one of the posters right there on my wall with Zach Galifianakis with this man purse and everything, and yeah, it's just a great year for movies and well worth a spot in my top 10. Coming in at number 3 is 2004. 2004 saw not only one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but one of my favorite animated movies of all time. You have The Incredibles. You have the movie Saw, which to me has the best ending in a horror movie. Definitely for this century. Definitely top 3 of all time. Jigsaw. I love the character, the killer, and it's just an amazing movie. I love the franchise. I've seen all the movies. I love them all. Another great movie, romantic comedy that came out was 50 First Dates. This is my favorite Adam Sandler movie. It's definitely my favorite Sandler and Drew Barrymore collaboration. I know some people, maybe a lot of people would say The Wedding Singer, but in my opinion, 50 First Dates is top notch. I love it, and yeah, it's just one of the many movies of 2004 that were really, really good. Coming in at number 2, almost had the number 1 spot. That is 2015. 2015 was a breakout year, and it brought back one of the most iconic franchises of all time. You know what I'm talking about. I have the poster right there for it, and that is Star Wars The Force Awakens. This set off another trilogy, and it set it off with a bang. The one minor disappointment I had about this movie is we only got to see Luke Skywalker for a minute, if that. That was disappointing for me. But other than that, it was a great movie. And spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. If you haven't, I'm going to spoil it here, so mute it if you don't want to hear it. You've been warned. But finally, Han Solo, Harrison Ford, got his wish, and his character was bumped off. But he went out in style, and I love that movie. It's just the tip of the iceberg. You have Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, another great sequel. You have Ant-Man coming out and having his origin movie with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was meant to play Ant-Man. He did a fantastic job. I really wish that it would get a lot more recognition and financial support like the other movies do. But I'm not telling people to go out. You have to like Ant-Man. But, I mean, come on. Paul Rudd is meant to play Ant-Man. He's really funny. The movies are great. And, yeah, it definitely deserves to be a runner-up, in my opinion, as far as movies go. Now, for the number 1 spot, the one question that you guys were all waiting for is my favorite year in film. And the number 1 spot goes to 2016. 2016, again, had a lot of great movies. 3 that I'm going to mention are 3 of my all-time favorites. 2 are sequels, and 1 just started a franchise that's going to be just booming. They are Captain America Civil War, The Conjuring 2, and Deadpool, among many movies that were great in 2016. You have La La Land, just a load of movies that were just top notch in 2016. Like I said, I can go on and on about the movies in each year, but 2016, in my opinion, as of right now, is the best year for movies. Um, but you never know. Um, 2019 is coming up. 2018 was right there on the cusp. It was my first honorable mention, almost made the top 10. Uh, Going over the honorable mentions real quick again. Um, Coming to number 11 would have been 2018. Number 12 would be 1980. Number 13 would be 1983. Number 14 would be 1996. And number 15 would be 2012. But yeah, there you have it. Those are my best years in movies, according to my opinion. So in the comment section below, give me your favorite movie. Give me your favorite movie. Give me your favorite year in movies. If you have a top 10 list, I would love to see it. If you don't, just give me a few. Let me know, did you agree with my list? Did you not agree with it? Let me know in the comment section below. I enjoy all kinds of feedback. And let's have a great discussion about this. It's a lot of fun things to talk about. Other than that, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for all notifications. And don't forget to share these videos with your family and friends. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting my channel. And before I sign off, again, my favorite year in film is 2016. But till next time, thank you for watching, and check you later.